Hi, everybody, and welcome back to TV for Real, where reality and scripted TV collide. My name is Mike Bloom. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Sasha Joseph. Sasha, how's it going?
So ready. We're back. It's been 70 million years, so I'm here. We're ready.
We skipped a week.
I know. In my head, it's been 17 years. So
Well,
look.
it's been far from 17 years since we've seen this person on our screens, and I'm so excited she has made the leap over to podcasting. Leap being the operative term here, of course. From Survivor 46, the one, the only Moriah Gaynor. How you doing, Mo?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for letting me merge my interest on your podcast.
Oh,
I'm happy. I'm happy to have made this leap.
There we go, exactly. And any sort of special hoops you have to get through. This is just an outright blank merge of interests. No writers attached.
Great. Well, maybe to the TV shows. Hopefully, good writers too. Or
Yeah.
not.
So I'm excited for this because you talked to us about this before briefly, that you are an outright TV junkie. Has this always
Yes.
been the case? Have you been glued to the tube since you were a kid?
Oh, absolutely. I was like the kid where it's just like your like brain is going to like melt and like rot out of your ears bad. Can you go outside and do something? And I'm like, great. I'll go read a book. And they're like, no, there's no sunlight involved. You're missing the point. So, yes, I've been an absolute outright, like I'm talking scripted, non-scripted, garbage, good, everything in between. Like my longest, most stable relationship is with Netflix at this point. So, killing it.
Is that your streaming platform of choice if you had to pick one?
Unfortunately, although hot take, I love Hulu because it's current.
yes.
Ooh, I feel like
Yes.
nobody. It's interesting because I feel like 10 years ago it was like Netflix versus Hulu, but Hulu's just like really fallen out of favor. Where it feels like even when you talk about what are the most forgotten streaming services, it's even the most forgotten of the most forgotten. Where people are talking about Apple and everything. Nobody
Oh,
gives any lip service to Hulu.
no, Hulu is great for current. I am not paid for Hulu. These are opinions of my own, but great. I like Hulu for current stuff. If I want quality once in a while, it's Apple. If I want quality a lot of the time, HBO, Paramount for Undone. I actually downloaded Tubi to watch something and then
Yes.
immediately deleted it.
Oh,
Like right after.
to be
I-
so random. I love
Yeah. I've been on Freebie, Tubi. Literally, like if I see it and it has what I want, I have no shame in making a password up.
Oh, I love this. Is there anything specific on Hulu? I feel like I've also been on a Hulu binge. I just finished Unprisoned and How to Die Alone. So great. Yeah.
Oh,
Comedy
that-
shows, both of them. Believe it or not.
yeah, I would say short attention span for Hulu because
Yes.
those ads get
Fair.
ya. But I'm on Avid Elementary,
Of course.
Yes,
absolutely.
very
Like,
much that.
and then I think they might have taken part of it off, but I actually recently binged Modern Family, like 9
Ooh.
seasons Modern Family, as well as Blackish. Like those are just like my sitcom, like easygoing. Like I got a half an hour. What else do you do?
Yeah, you really are between like the Hulu shilling and talking about Blackish, Abbott Elementary, and Modern Family. You're like really baked into the House of Mouse at this point.
Yeah, although Disney is speaking of rising their subscription, so maybe I'll just catch Agatha all along on Twitter instead.
Yeah.
Oh, not this.
Well, that's the thing. They do post like the best clips online, so it is also partially like, well, I've already kind of watched the episode in all these chunks. It's just you talk about the commercials breaking it up. You just have to find the right types of people in your circles in your own covens that are posting the right clips to string them together.
I know, like exactly. It's like this is probably the absolute wrong audience, but there is like one time I saw this awful sports thing called the Red Zone, I think it's called, where it just like jumps between like clip to clip to clip to clip of just pure action shots. And I feel like that's like my Twitter, but for sitcoms. And I'm like not mad about it, but it's definitely a choice and a lot of effort to make it that way.
I love that. I actually haven't. The Red Zone is such a like throwback because I think it still goes on, the NFL Red Zone.
Oh, I mean, I may or may not have a subscription.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I was gonna say. But I'm just laughing because I was like, I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like it does kind of feel like I didn't even realize kind of backwards thinking because obviously I think Red Zone predates it, but yeah, it does feel a little like FYP, right? It's like, all right, well, I
Ooh,
watched the touchdown in this
yes.
game. Let me go watch what's going on this game now. It is actually perfect
Mhm.
for our deteriorating attention spans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it deteriorated our attention span. Who's to say?
Exactly.
That's fair. That's fair. Listen, that's how Mike is killing us all in fantasy. So here we
Well,
are.
I mean, speaking of
Oh.
fantasy, though, Mariah, I mean, you and I,
Mhm.
we talked D&D out there on the island before you entered the game. Fantasy as just a genre, is it something that you've always been into?
Yes and no. I'm actually really picky on my fantasy
Mm.
of like I don't like reading fantasy, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry to like all those like House of Thorns and Roses, I think it's called, girlies out there. Like I really want to get into it, but I feel like the world building's too extensive for my like attention span. But when
Mm.
it comes to like movies, mostly movies, or like some TV shows, it's a little bit more visual. Like definitely I hopped on Game of Thrones a little bit late. I am on House of Dragon. Like I'm mostly mainstream though. I'd say my podcast are where you get me with like Dungeons and Daddies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Give Sasha, have you had any interest in playing D&D in your life?
I have. Like I am into it. I've just never been invited into the space. So
Aw.
I like
Aw.
this kind of nerdy stuff. So it just hasn't come my way, if that makes sense. Cause your girl loves Lord of the Rings. Your girl loves
Hmm.
all of these things. I've read Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So
Mm.
I'll be
Wow.
in it. So yeah, one day. One day
I feel like there's no excuse. Like there's so many different
Yeah.
ways that exist out there to just like play online with strangers. You just gotta find the right avenue.
True.
You gotta find
True.
the right gateway to do it because it is an incredibly fun thing to do. I haven't done it a
Yeah.
lot in person. I really want to do it
Mhm.
more in person. But I've done it online for like 5 years at this point, and it's so fun. It's so much fun.
Wow. Interesting, because I've only done like one time online and the rest have been completely in person. So like
Wow.
there's something like very tactile that I love, like really getting into it. Like I'm literally playing with like a fidgety dodecagon right now. Like it's just part of me. Just get into it.
Yeah, so I guess speaking towards perhaps your origins from fantasy or otherwise, what's like the first pop culture property you remember becoming a really big fan of at whatever age that might be?
Okay, kind of niche, but I was a huge fan of Sabrina the animated series growing
Oh,
up.
yes.
And it
Okay.
was like this like half witch, like Archie kind of like offshoot.
Mhm.
And for me, that was just like I think I saw every episode like 10 times, like forward and back. And then from there, like you grow up into like Sabrina, the like teenage witch fandom, and then like it kind of just invites you on. And for those who don't know, this is like a sitcom comedy, but like teenage witch show where like it's meant to be camp. Like it is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer esque, but just a little more lighthearted.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great description because I definitely also watched it as a Archie comic reader.
Mm.
It was very
Mhm.
much like, yes, this is it. I'm here. I've made it because I read all the comics. So I love that because Sabrina has always been such a cool escapism. Like she's cool, she's
Mhm.
relatable.
Hmm.
And then her and Salem's adventures in that animated show, I swear, I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll even go as far to say as like Sabrina like goes to Witch Academy was one of the first like DVDs I visually remember owning.
Ooh.
Like for and a DVD is a small disc that kind of looks like that. CD, you put it in, plays a movie. But it was like, oh my God, I get to play the games on it. I get to go down the little like witches road to like get to the like Hogwarts knockoff area. Like it was like vivid memories. Also, while we're on it, I think we need to bring back DVD games. I don't care about DVDs,
Ooh.
but
Ooh.
the menu games are it's
Well,
worth the
yeah,
hassle.
the menus in general, like I've always seen this circulate around because I like for some reason want to titillate my brain and like subscribe to like these
Mhm.
nostalgia accounts that are just like,
Mhm.
remember when weird colored Max, and it's like, yeah, I guess DVD menus are things that obviously left because they got rid of special features. And so there was like no reason to utilize it. But there used to be so much creativity that was baked into that kind of just got dismantled, where now it's, again, the biggest beeline, slim down. Okay, I just want to watch the thing. I don't care about any of the frills, baubles, bells, and whistles attached to it.
I mean, I kind of love, but also hate how Netflix kept the worst part about the DVD menu, which is when you're done with your show, it just keeps playing noises forever and ever. Like, it just never stops, because that was like part of the trauma of that. Is you fall asleep and you wake up like humming the theme show. Like,
yes, me with George Lopez.
Oh, that's a aggressive theme song too.
Yep. Every time, middle of the night.
Yeah, that's what, like, I think a lot of
you
people,
just see
speaking
the
of
low
nostalgia,
right.
yeah, they just have like wake up in cold sweats remembering whenever they just be like risen at 5 a.m. for whatever reason. George Lopez would be running on loop.
Oh my God. Oh, what a great show.
I do remember from not the animated show, but the live action Sabrina. I did watch a little bit. Yeah, thinking about it is like I don't know, more of a wholesome Buffy is a very fun way to think about it. I do remember a bit of like the Uncanny Valley on Salem, because he was an animatronic. And so like it always looked like some sort of amusement park ride had been brought to life instead of a feline. I mean, again, a sign of the times, but I feel like if that show even premieres like 5 years later, he's CGI.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that would be better, to be honest. I actually don't know which one I would take, is like 1999 animatronic or 2000 CGI cat. Like, they're both terrifying in their own right.
Honestly, this is so funny, because I agree with y'all that it's an animatronic. I'm wondering if I did not put that together, because I thought it was a puppet. Because
maybe it is a puppet.
No. I think you're correct. I'm with you. It's just my bubble has been burst. Because the way the neck used to move was so weird.
That's the thing. Because so it is an animatronic. It's an animatronic model. Because it was very. That's fair. Because to your point, it wasn't like here we go. It wasn't like, it wasn't fluid motion. It was very like oil can. Like, all right, Sabrina, I'm gonna talk to you, but it's gonna be a real effort to do so as I turn my head 45 degrees.
Oh God.
Yeah, like, and I don't know what I would like imagine Salem's voice to be like, but they definitely said, okay, what is the like deepest, like burliest voice we can get away with putting in this cat? And they went for it. The whole thing is like camp, top to bottom. So missing out if you didn't have a Sabrina phase or obsession, depending on who you ask.
Phase, obsession, whatever, same shit.
Never.
I do feel like the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, like, I feel like we've all had shows that are cautionary tales about the dangers of using magic, from like the days of Bewitched through Sabrina, through the Fairly Odd Parents. And it feels like these up and coming generations don't know, be careful what you wish for. And honestly, I think it's a lesson that they need to have instilled in them by something, some way, somehow.
I guess.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say Game of Thrones. You want to like be king and you end up dead. Like, I guess that's a wish. Like,
oh, that's so funny. Oh my God, as like someone that's, because of this podcast, had to get into Game of Thrones, fascinating to hear this. But I would also say, I wonder if like we need Jeremiah on, because I wonder if like Percy Jackson
that's a good point.
But I don't know. Because we had it too, Percy Jackson.
I would say with Percy Jackson, I'm no Jeremiah, but I'll try my hardest here. We have some things in common. But
period.
So with Percy Jackson, I feel like it was more like an anti-wish. Like, he didn't want any of that.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was like the fates are thrusting it. It's coming, ready or not. Make the best of it. Do your thing. Like, embrace your anti-wish in a way. Like, his wish might have been to not have that wish.
Yeah, he's like, you know what I want? My mom back. That's what I wish for.
Bambi, what happened?
No spoilers. Mom's fine. It's fine.
Listen, if you didn't come here for Percy Jackson spoilers, I don't know why you're here.
Exactly. That's what really the subtitle of the podcast is. TV for real. Percy Jackson spoilers welcome. I don't know why we ended up reading that book to my son when he was like 2 years old. It's just because Angela has it, and we just kind of like pulled it off the shelf, and I'm like, all right, I'll do funny voices. But it's like there's no way this boy compartmentalized all of that trauma and all the
Poor
Greek
Asher.
mythology based into it. It's fine.
I mean, I'd rather people be like going through the like Percy Jacksons right now than like, I'm not sure if you remember the like dystopian novel Obsession that hit between like
Ooh.
2009 to 2012 of
Oh, yeah.
like, we're talking like everything between like Divergent, like kind of
Yes.
in that Twilight-esque right after, but everything was bad. It was Maze Runner. It was like
Hunger Games was
Hunger
obviously like
Games.
the
That I
big thing that
remember.
then just
Yeah.
kind of trickled down to all these other things.
Yeah, and it was just like this like giant face. I mean, it created a ton of terrible clips and memes, which are great to laugh at now. But apart from that, that was a tough era of movies to be into.
Yeah, it's just everything's going bad. And now I love that people are like, the world is going bad. Remember Hunger Games? And it's like, well, the Hunger Games was inspired by real world tragedy.
Well,
guys.
speaking of real world, though, I believe Hunger Games was also inspired a bit by reality TV as well. So,
Mhm.
I mean, specifically Hunger Games, like even outside of the other dystopian stuff, the idea of, okay, all these people are meant to compete against each other and suffer, and everyone else
Mhm.
are voyeurs having to watch it for their own entertainment. I mean, that is reality TV in a nutshell.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Mike Bloom.
We
Tell me
love
more.
voyeurism.
Well, I mean, I know it's scripted, but I also like, I don't know about you all, but there's like reality TV as we know and love it today. And then there's like whatever fever dream, like early 2000s reality competition
Thank
TV is
you.
today.
Yeah, it was the bubble, right? It was like, oh my God, this
Ooh.
is like an absolute money printer. Let's make anything and every concept that comes to mind.
Like I have two in particular that
Yeah.
are like, to me, it's just like, what I think of reality TV. And one of them is a one season show that premiered on E Network, and it is called Bridal Plasty. And it
Yes,
is as
correct.
bad as it
Yep,
sounds.
yep.
Yep. The two
I'm with
responses.
you.
So for those who don't know, which is like, I'm assuming nobody, because it's obviously a very well-known show, it's brides to be compete for the opportunity to win their plastic surgeries of
Correct.
their dreams. And they just go
The
head to
cover
head.
is so good. It's that girl with the nose job, right? That's the
But what do
Yeah.
you mean compete?
It'd be like, oh, who could tell which wine was the most expensive? Congrats, no stop. Like,
yeah.
who made the best
I
toilet
watched
paper dress?
I know
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
God.
your face is correct.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, this is I mean, they definitely went with a lot of like beauty is skin deep, so change it type of stuff. I mean, there was always what Extreme Makeover before they went home edition. They were
Yeah.
super exploitative with like all right, here's a laser pointer. We're gonna circle what we need to do on you. Like,
Yeah.
my God, what flew only 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, I was
Oh.
watching an episode of The Floor the other day, and reality TV was one of the categories. So I was like, oh, I mean, I think I would be good at it, but like who knows? Anyway, they show the picture of the reality of the show and you have to name it.
Right.
It opened this like unlocked something in my brain that was dormant, because most of the shows were these early 2000s show that I was like, oh yeah, I know
Interesting.
this. The picture for Big Brother was Big Brother 4, I think. So you can only imagine the era they were stuck in. Super Nanny, but like
Yeah.
before she apologized for the timeout, like all those pictures. And I couldn't believe that I was watching all this. And I will always say I love money and all those I love shows.
I thought it was just a statement, but yeah, I love money too.
I love my.
Yeah.
Is that a statement or a show or both?
Show.
So it's a show.
Okay,
So basically,
great.
it was the Flavor of Love.
Mhm.
The Flavor
Rock
of
of Love.
Flavor
Tiwa
Flav was
Tequila.
like the Tony Stark, and then he
Yeah.
inspires this entire universe of shows on VH1 that then had their own sort of All Stars Challenge-esque show, though much more janky, called I love money. So Moriah, what would be your subject on the floor? What would you say would be your subject of expertise if you were on a game show?
Oh my God. If I were to choose like one thing, it might be like either obscure like Titanic facts. I might go
Ooh.
presidents, but that's like kind of a really risky one because like, there's a lot to cover there. Or honestly, like I'm a huge San Diego nerd. Like it's super boring, but like I worked in local government, and like one of my lamest party tricks is I'll be driving with my friend. I'll be like, guess what? We just crossed over from District 5 to District 7.
Oh, well, is that not
So
Hunger Games?
fun.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I'm a hoot and holler, let me tell you. Great times.
Oh, I
People
wonder if
bring
they gerrymandered in the Hunger Games. Were they like, well, we really need to cut part of it this and make it District 5. It's gonna be better for the reaping at the end of the day.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sure.
I'd be disappointed if there's not just like one little Florida, but running like through the middle of the country. Like that is not a stable democracy we're talking about here.
Correct. I would love to take it back a little. Speaking of, I think Sabrina, did you have comfort shows that growing up? Well, did you watch those
Mhm.
growing up that now have turned into these comfort shows?
Oh yeah, like I would say Modern Family is
Mhm.
like my go-to. Like I've seen that so many times backwards and forwards.
Does it hold
Parks
up? I feel like after season
does.
like 4 or 5, people were like, we're good, we're done with it. It's rote.
No, it definitely it like held up. Like there are so many small gags that you get like running through it. And like Phil Dunphy is America's dad, Sorry, move over Tom Hanks. I said what I
Mhm.
said. But so I'd say that one's a big one. Parks and Rec, Veep, like those
Ooh.
are, unsurprising, but like definitely very topical now. I see those a lot. How I Met Your Mother didn't hold up as much,
I was
but
about to say, I do not believe that one holds up as well.
okay, it does and it doesn't. Because it doesn't if you read a script for it. You're like, this is the grossest thing I've ever done. But then you're remembering, like, oh, it's satire. And it's like, oh, this is kind of an example of what not to do. So if you kind of look at it from that,
Barney. Yeah.
yeah, if you kind of look at it from that lens, you're like, oh, like apart from like the you're getting arrested part or should be, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. I also feel, I don't know about y'all, but I feel that these shows, they should just be seen for what they are instead of kind of,
Uh,
you know, and some, yes, most of them are not going to hold up. That's why I feel that way. It's how do we not yuck our yums? It's to just say
yeah.
in that moment in time, it worked.
Oh yeah, I mean,
How I Met Your Mother.
considering like the
Yeah.
bro code books that went off written by Barney Stinson,
Oh.
like, and it is wild
Yeah.
because yeah, like it's also very funny to have Neil Patrick Harris be like the paragon of like sleazy masculinity, especially in hindsight. But that was also, again, speaking of like side of the times, it's like, well, the funny thing is that he played this character when he was a kid, and now he gets to do this thing, and so that's why he was hired. He wasn't just a sort of like out of
Mhm.
nowhere actor like the other
Mm.
four.
Hmm. I mean, the other thing too is like it's just such a goofy era of when it was made because this is like also I remember my friends just being obsessed with like Tosh.0 at this time
Oh my God.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like a very weird like sense of American culture and that like kind of masculine but kind of not, and let's all wear cardigans and but let's also like be super gross to women, and it's a very weird time in TV in general.
Yeah, that's like Ugly Betty. Boy, watching
Oh
Ugly Betty back, you're just like,
yeah.
how did I survive? How did any girl survive this time?
Not well.
Yeah,
Right?
that's,
Not
I mean,
well.
that's
Yeah.
the answer. Yeah. Oh man, Tosh.0. Should that? I don't know. I mean, I think it was much easier to kind of say like, oh, we talk about the internet in the days when YouTube was like 5 years old. At that point, it
Mm,
feels untenable now. It feels like Tosh.0 would have to be like a Today Show esque 4 hour escapade every day, being
Yeah.
like, all right, what was this person saying on Twitter today? Oh my God, this person was on TikTok doing this. There'd be so much more to dissect.
Yeah, like I mean they barely get through it in Weekend Update. I
mhm.
can't even imagine. Also, yes, I am an SNL diehard. I have a weird thing called live TV in my apartment somehow.
Yes,
So
period.
I do get to watch it. It is a dream of mine to go at SNL. So if anyone can make that happen,
Ooh,
like,
who are some of your favorite cast members?
I think Kate McKinnon, like
Yeah.
recently, but also I just love that like Andy Samberg, Amy Poehler, Tina
Mm-hmm.
Fey, like Rachel Dratch, like that era of SNL is truly like unbeatable in my eyes.
So if they're, SNL is very topical. So they're doing a Survivor 46 Murgatory episode. Who is playing you?
Ooh, I mean, probably. I feel like Tina Fey could probably get away with
Oh,
it
I
pretty
like
well.
that.
Like,
Yes.
like personally, I feel like I'm a pretty good mix between like her character in 30 Rock and Amy Poehler's character in Parks and Rec.
Of course, yeah.
So
I
I
love
feel
that.
I feel like that's working out pretty well for me.
Yeah, you and I talked about this when we were out there. Like, did you stay away from Parks and Rec for a while you were in local government? Did it remind you too much of it, or was it more like, oh, this is funny? It's a lampooning of my day to day.
I watched it before I started working in local government. And after I started watching, I'm like, oh, that show kind of makes a little bit more sense. Like I get it. And then I rewatched it and I'm just like, am I taking my work home with me? Like I actually had an assignment for paper in like school, in like grad school, and they were like, choose an episode of TV that's like a real example that you could kind of relate to government stuff. And there's one episode on the sugar tax, and
Mm.
it's Amy Poehler's trying to be like, no, let's tax it. You shouldn't be able to fit a child in this cup of soda. And people are just like, but my family, we love the soda. And that's just local government in a nutshell.
Oh,
So
I love this.
yes, that show is amazing and hilarious. And I wish Mr. Mayor made it, but they tried really hard.
It did
Mm,
try, yeah. It did,
yeah.
and
They
it,
did
it had a
try.
little bit of a track record. Like Ted Danson, like we loved him there. Let's put him in, a government position, and it was not the best follow up. Have you watched any other like government based shows? You watch West Wing or Veep or anything like that?
I love Veep. I've watched Veep, although that's definitely one that jumped the shark a little bit,
Mm.
just a tad bit toward the end. But I'd say that's it. Believe it or not, I'm like have other things besides government, I hope, going on. But mostly comedies. I'm not
Mhm.
that big into like dramas or like dark and heavy shows, really. Like I didn't even like Breaking Bad.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Just too dark for you?
Too boring, to be honest. Like
I've never
I've
seen it, so that's really interesting.
I've tried to watch it 2 times. And
Okay.
every single time I make it to like the end of season 3, the beginning of season 4. So I give it a good shot. And
Mm.
both times I've got in there and just been like, I would rather be watching anything else.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
listen, people are gonna come for us, but I see what you mean.
No, I don't necessarily believe so, because I think, as well, to your point, like Mariah, you're talking about like, oh, I've been watching Modern Family again. I've been watching these sort of like quick, clippy, sometimes quite literally on social media types of shows. And now we're also in the era though of other shows being like, this is a 4-hour movie. And so sometimes it really is like feeling long and drawn out. And maybe sometimes that does cause dramatic tension for some people. For others, it might just be languishing and waiting to get to the next setting.
Yeah, I mean, I can do reality TV for hours on end. I'll binge stuff. Like, I think I watched, like, what was the one that just came out? Oh, Nobody Wants This. I watched that like the second it dropped. Like, that was a one session for me. Or like Severance, I love, but there's
Hmm.
just some like Breaking Bad that just, no matter how much I try, it does not click.
Sasha, have you seen Nobody Wants This yet?
I haven't finished it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just it. I am a Jew of color, so like maybe this isn't my flag to bear. I'll
Mm.
say that.
mm,
But boy, how they talk about them women is crazy. Oh, I was like, do Ashkenazi women not care more about being this like hag, right? The constant naggy, weird, and then the hot, like non-Jewish woman. And constantly using that S word. I don't talk about it, but to use that is crazy. Like they just wilded. Like it's crazy.
Which is more offensive to you, the comments of Judaism or the comments about podcasting?
Oh, see, they got me on the podcasting.
I don't know, the podcasting, that they do the thing where it's like, we're just two casual people sitting on a couch holding microphones, and that's what a podcast is.
I feel like that's mess magnet, so I really cannot stop. I was like, I think that's me. I think that's what Kirsten and I do on the week, every week.
I don't know. It does like come off like, oh yeah, our prep for this week is I ran an errand and went to the store and bought an item. Good enough.
Yeah,
like,
it's sort of like very Carrie Bradshaw-esque, right? Of like, oh, I have to write a column. What are escapades that I get into this week? I'm sure I can put that in there. People will lap it up.
Single college me definitely could have that podcast, but thank God I never did, because it does not need to be out in the world. But I don't know. Great.
But did you have that Vine at least?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's really funny. Oh, I know. I will watch the show, but yeah, it's just I had to take a break. I was like, this is wild.
No, listen, protect your peace. I'd be like, I'm good. I'll step away from it from a little bit of time. But like, it's also, if we talk about nostalgia throwbacks, I mean, it's Veronica Mars romancing Seth Cohen from the OC.
Yes. Wow. I mean, when you put it like that, like, no wonder it has everyone in chokehold right now.
Yeah, I've seen like a lot of stuff like, and you know what? It's brought about the renaissance of like Leighton Meester. Because I think people are like, oh, right, we remember him. Oh, he's married to her. Oh, we like her. And that's all it takes. We have such basic reptilian brains that it's like, wait a minute. I watched this man, and this man is married to this woman, and I like this woman. We're going to give her a job again.
Wow. Okay. I feel like I'm a pawn in the system now. Go. Yeah. Another 9-9 reference that I probably overuse.
Oh my God. First, I love Leighton Meester, right? Like, she's just so fun to me. And listen, the OG from Gossip Girl. So in my mind, Mike, I felt like people were like, oh, she cracked the code of like her man very early. And now we're getting to enjoy him.
Well, I think especially with recent news about Blake Lively, Leighton Meester has become the more preferred lead from Gossip Girl as of late.
Listen, if you watch Gossip Girl, and I understand why folks were Team Serena, but Blair just made sense.
Were folks Team Serena at the end? Like,
well, I think people were really exhausted by her.
They were team cancellation by the end of Gossip Girl.
That part.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think, like, what were like. That would be a good trivia question of like which had more seasons, like Gossip Girl or like, I don't know, like Grey's Anatomy.
It's great.
Beating everyone's ass.
Yeah, Gossip Girl isn't still going today.
Yeah, I was like, Gossip Girl was 6 seasons. That's it.
That's it?
Yep.
I mean, it was 121 episodes because they were doing like 25 episode seasons.
That is unheard of. That is misleading. I do not like that advertising of, oh, it's just 6 seasons. You could binge that. You could do that. Like,
it just gets like crazier and crazier. Like it was like the Pretty Little Liars thing where we had figured out who A was, and because of that, they just kept entwining it more and more. That's what I felt like was the end of Gossip Girl, and I think I gave up, even though I watched the show, I really liked it, and then the whole like Dan stepbrother stepsister shit, I was like, stop this, enough already.
Oh, I mean, speaking too of like going to like the Pretty Little Liars, like that's a whole nother untapped trove of interesting television is that ABC Family era.
Oh yeah,
when they're just cranking them out, and again, for some reason, I'm like, I guess these are funny, like things, kind of. So I guess I like them because Make It or Break It was like my 7th grade crack.
Oh my, I think I was too old for it when I was watching. I remember being like, this is crazy. Why am I watching this? But I loved it.
Well, I feel like there were two sort of different trails they were trying to pursue at the same time, and maybe they still are, which is like, one is, yeah, to your point, increasingly unhinged teen drama, Secret Life of the American Teenager, Make It or Break It, etc. And then there's like, remember, almost like we were talking about with Lee and Meester, remember this person? And then you talk about celebrating the teenage witch, like Melissa and Joey ran for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years on that network. Because it was just like,
what?
Yeah, here are two old sitcom stars. Now they're on a show together.
But I loved Melissa and Joey. Can I just say? I thought they had so much chemistry, and I was very into them. I can't believe it was on for 2010 to 2015. What the hell, ABC Family?
Well, that's the thing is that like I don't think they were banking as much on ratings as your broadcast television shows. I feel like you got to do at least like okay, and then you're pretty much guaranteed to stay in there.
It has 7 out of 10 stars on IMDb, y'all.
Okay, so Melissa and Joey, I've like seen clips of it, but I haven't seen it. Is it like a Kevin can fuck himself type show? Like, is it that category of show?
No, because I didn't watch Kevin Can F Himself, but I've seen the trailer, and if the show was like their trailer, I'm telling you no.
Yeah, series overview. Mel is a local, and also they do the thing where it's like, it's called Seinfeld, and Jerry Seinfeld plays Jerry Seinfeld. Melissa plays Mel, a local politician. When a family scandal leaves her niece Lennox and nephew Ryder without their parents, Mel takes them in. Meanwhile, Joe is a former commodities trader left bankrupt after a Ponzi scheme and finds himself searching for a job. So when Mel finds it hard to handle an instant family and her own life, she hires Joe to become the family's new male nanny. Okay, so this is Who's the Boss. Why did they just remake Who's the Boss?
Yeah, it's Who's the Boss. Yes. And then they have the biggest, like, will they, won't they, like you'd ever seen.
Which, once again, is Who's the Boss.
Fair.
I was going to say, at least it sounds semi-creative. Like, my big, like, I'll add it to my list of pet peeves is when, like someone is so typecast. Like, the one that comes to mind is Gina Rodriguez, who cannot play anything except a writer in anything she's in. Like,
now that you say that, that's crazy. Yes.
So at least there was, like, a little bit of flair back in the day. Like, change the name, but it got spice.
I didn't even think about that with Gina Rodriguez. I
mean, I literally looked up.
Well, I know that she was in that ABC show that got canceled, right? Where she like writes obituaries or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not watch it, but yes, Not Dead Yet.
Yeah, and then Jane the Virgin.
Well, yeah, of course, Jane the Virgin.
And then the
Players.
movie...
She was in Players. Yes.
And then the movie she was a music writer.
You're right. Oh my god.
Wow, and the exact opposite of Leah Michelle. She is the most literate character that has ever existed.
The exact opposite of Leah Michelle. Yeah, because in Players, her and Damon Wayans Jr. are just like writers and toxic F-boys. Honestly, been there. Love.
Yeah, but like, to Leah Michelle's credit, we saw her high school education quality. Can you really blame her for not being able to read?
Yeah, that's true. They never went to class. All they did was sing.
Also, are we allowed to have a scripted TV podcast without bringing up Glee in any way, shape, or form? Is that legal?
So were you a Gleek, Moriah?
I was a Gleek. Not only did I love Glee, although I didn't make it to the college years, but I did also watch the Glee Project.
Yes!
Oh, yes. Yes.
You got to see the crossovers.
Yeah, like when a bunch of randos end up showing up in like season 3 and 4, you're like, where did they come from? They came from a reality show. But it's so wild to think about because it was a reality show to get a role on Glee, but they were put through so many it was like a basic 8-week long audition process, but it was like, star in this music video that showcases vulnerability. And it's like, they were saying, oh, to be on Glee, you have to have this and you have to have that. It's like, to be on Glee, you have to have better writing than what they're trying to showcase. Like, they're bringing people in from central casting to fill in these roles. You don't necessarily have to have gone to Juilliard to feel like you're a master of Ryan Murphy's A-caliber writing.
Yeah. I mean, if you thought Tyra Banks was a monster, you should see what Ryan Murphy did with a reality competition TV show. Like, that man
And
had
what he's
way too
doing
much.
all the time. Literally the Menendez brothers. Baby, what the hell is going on with this man?
I mean, were people surprised though, given what happened with Dahmer, when the
correct.
family of the victims were like, "Yeah, this isn't good. Don't do this." Like, was anyone surprised whatsoever that the Menendez brothers were saying, yeah, we didn't kiss each other after we killed our parents."
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Please.
Yeah, I mean that man, I'm even thinking like that Ben Platt show that he did that like
Oh
turned into like a
yeah.
political
I forgot, but yes.
like what was it? It was like a polyamorous political thriller kind of.
And this is where you're like, did AI come up with this?
Well, I think what Ryan Murphy does is it's the horse meme where like he is beautiful at drawing the first half of it, and then he just kind of
Yeah.
leaves the concept. He gets bored, and then he moves on to the next thing, and then people are like, "Oh, okay, I guess we'll try to handle this to the best of our ability," and then it just completely, almost always peters out from there.
Are we gonna give him the beginning of the horse meme? I'm pretty
That's
sure
what
Rachel
I'm
Berry.
saying.
Yeah, like Rachel Berry sent someone to a crack house in like season 2, man. Like that is where we are starting at.
He's actually the Gina Rodriguez, where he just has a certain character,
Yeah.
a characters that he will do, and it don't matter what show he's doing, it's always going to be just insert polyamory, something ridiculous, some straight man playing a gay man, right?
Mhm.
Like it's rinse and repeat. Him, Mindy Kaling, again, just lashings for all these people. Go to therapy. Deal with your trauma.
Well, I didn't realize Ryan Murphy. I think the newest show he's working on is Doctor Odyssey. If you've heard about this,
Yes,
this is
know
like
I
No.
have.
yeah, so it's
No.
like a medical procedural on a cruise ship with Joshua Jackson.
Yep. So as a below deck girly, so they
Yeah.
were showing it in the below deck commercials.
Oh.
And I was
Weird.
like,
That's like a
Oh.
cross network promotion because Doctor Odyssey is
yes.
ABC.
I have no, but they kept showing it in and I was like, what is happening? I don't want to watch this.
And actually, speaking of Glee, Sam himself, Cord Overstreet, is a young single guy who plays the field and is diagnosed with syphilis on a very special episode of Dr. Odyssey.
See?
He shouldn't be in the field then. Get out of the field. Take the bench. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God. And you know
Yeah.
it's just gonna be the most out. See, Dr. Odyssey about to make Grey's Anatomy look normal. That's the problem.
Well, that's what I hear. I think the early reviews were that like it's absolutely wild. I mean, Shania Twain is going to show up. Mariah, you name dropped her before. Rachel Dratch makes a guest appearance on it. Like, it's absolutely wild. I mean, Ryan Murphy. It's interesting because yeah, he worked on this. He did 911. I think he created 911
Wait,
as well.
what?
I believe he worked on 911, created it.
Okay, he gets the horse meme. That's crazy.
Yeah, him and Brad Falchuk, who's usually like his partner, they created 911.
Wow.
I mean, you gotta
Okay.
hand it to him for like one thing. He makes that like IMDb game where you have to like connect 2 random people a lot easier.
Yes.
Because Shania Twain and Rachel Dratch having like co-credits to me is wild.
And honestly, it's almost always him. Here's the thing. Ryan Murphy gets the stars. Okay, like one
That's the
thing about
thing.
him, he's
It's
gonna
true.
have star-studded shows.
Yeah, which is wild. Like, I don't know if it's like which came first, like Ryan Murphy being able to attract all this talent, or all this talent being like, oh, well, this is fun. Or they like, again, you know what it is actually? It's them being suckered in by that horse. It's the first half being like, oh, I remember the first season of Glee. Oh, the first season of American Crime Story, the OJ season was really fun. Sure, I'll sign on for this next one. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, I guess I'll do this. All
You
right.
didn't talk to the Menendez brothers and you don't care to? Got it.
Yeah, like the geniuses there really are the people who like signed up for season 2 of American Horror Story and were just like,
That's
yeah,
true.
I know where this is going. Let's get in at 2. Like, I ain't signing up for 6.
You know
Although-
what? You're right. You're right.
Gotta say, poor, what is it, Evan Peters and Sarah Paulson, who apparently signed like a blood contract with the man and now have to appear in everything.
Here's the thing. Who has more dirt on execs? Is it Rob Dyrdek from Ridiculousness on MTV execs, or is it Ryan Murphy?
I mean, nice of you to assume there are still MTV execs, because it just feels like it is a house that is becoming more and more derelict as the weeks pass. I think Rob Dyrdek has just been like, yeah, I'll live here. It's fine. Yeah, the walls are a little cracked, like toilet doesn't flush, but I can crash here for a little bit.
Oh my god. Show reruns of old MTV shows. What the hell? I'd rather watch those than Ridiculousness, but here we are.
You talk about Tosh, like this is sort of the echoes of Tosh.0 is that it's Ridiculousness, which has somehow existed for, I don't know, I'm going to conservatively say 2,373 episodes at this point.
I like that. Yeah. I'm going to look it up, but I think you're right.
Over under 1,500.
Correct. Well, it's the Big Brother where you have to answer.
Yeah, closest without going over.
Yep.
Whoa! Oh my god, I looked it up.
Don't tell me. Oh, do tell me, actually.
1,510 episodes.
Ding, 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 Moriah!
Over under 1,500. Sorry.
There we go.
I was too excited.
My god, it's on season 42. So I could say that might lap Survivor at a certain point.
Serious. Oh, he's gonna outlast us all. That's the
thing. It's cockroaches and ridiculousness.
They really need to do like a crossover with that, like the show that just came out about the like apocalypse, basically, the nuclear meltdown.
Oh yes, Fallout.
Yes. Fallout. Yeah.
Yes.
They need to put it on the Fallout TVs.
Oh. Love.
Yeah, I think actually, Ridiculousness should be like the Twinkies of television, where it's like, all right, well, the society's hollowed out and we're all wasting away from radiation poisoning, but at least do a new episode of Ridiculousness is that guy will keep going.
Although, if you're on it, I've never seen an episode, but look up how many episodes of General Hospital there are, be prepared to blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, it's inflated because of the fact that it airs 4 days a week. So you multiply that by like 50 years, basically, and it just keeps adding up.
6.6 rating. Shout out.
Oh.
Good for them.
I mean, you talk about like, oh, poor Evan Peters, poor Sarah Paulson. Like, they're the modern day versions of these soap actors that are just like, they get their check and they get to clock in, clock out, and they still cash a pretty penny for it. It's, reliable work. Nice when you can get it.
I mean, my favorite season is Ellen Pompeo contract renewal time, because that girl is unhinged with the media during that time. She's like, I hate it here and they won't let me leave.
Correct.
But I'm stuck. Like,
oh my god.
No mercy.
They must pay her, right? Like, there's no way. I mean, even though now she's a guest star on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, she's been like downgraded, and she's also on a new show. I feel like she's
is that legal?
I don't know if that's actually possible, but I thought she was doing something else in addition to Grey's now, unless she's just like, honestly, she could go like found her own country with probably the amount of money that she's sitting on from doing 20 seasons of Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely worth a small GDP, at least.
Oh yeah, you know what she's doing? She is doing, do you remember the movie Orphan?
Oh, like the scary one?
Where the twist is that it's not a little girl, it's like a 30-year-old woman.
Yes.
So now they're doing a TV series, because it was a real story, where like this couple adopted a girl that turned out to very much not be her age, and Ellen Pompeo is going to be starring in it.
Oh, that seems like a Hulu show also. Like,
well, Moriah, you'll be right on the money again. It's coming to Hulu.
Yes! Well, they do so well with those, like, like the one about the opioid crisis. They did so well about that.
Yes, Dope, I think it was.
Yeah, like Doped, and then what was the other one with like Gypsy Rose? Like, this is their bread and butter.
Yes,
like,
yep.
They love these.
Oh my goodness. Well, we brought it full circle with Hulu, like the professional you are, Mariah. Any other random things you want to talk about your TV tastes? I know it's a lot to pack in here.
So I am shouting out. I love musicals.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Not even a guilty pleasure, just a pleasure. And
There we
I
go.
love Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Does not get enough credit.
Oh, I love Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
As you know, as a Jew who moved by ways of New York to California, I too relate with this show. So I gotta say, like, people need to watch it. Musicals, they don't bite. They're not scary.
No.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend feels like, and Mike, I think, is like the connoisseur, but Crazy Ex-Girlfriend feels like actually exciting to watch as a musical. I don't know why, but it feels really fun.
Well, it's because, Glee is a musical show, but it's all covers. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is all entirely original songs and musicals, comedy songs on top of that. So they're very funny. And that's the thing. It's one thing to be funny. It's another thing to like be funny and actually write good music. And so like huge ups to Rachel Bloom. Wish there was a relation for being able to make that. And also like it goes there at certain points as well. Like it actually is a very interesting, complicated look at mental health, at depression, at addiction in a manner of speaking. Very much. I think it's still on Netflix if people want to check it out.
It is. But I would say too, kind of funny, speaking of Rachel Bloom, I actually didn't watch the show for the longest time because all my camp friends were the ones who were just like, hey, you need to watch the show. You need to watch the show. Like Rachel Bloom made a show. And I went to camp with a girl named Rachel Bloom and I'm like, why would I care? She's in like an improv show. Like, so I did not get connected for the longest time that it wasn't like the Rachel Bloom I knew. It was
I'm actually dead.
An actual person.
This is the most Jewish thing to ever happen in the world.
Yes.
I went to camp with some girl named X, Y, and Z.
And you were like, but I also love the fact that you also kind of then dumbed down the show as well, where it wasn't like, oh, she's on a TV show. You're like, yeah, what? She's doing like her UCB 301 graduation show. I'm not going to that. Why would I do that?
Yeah, like I'm like, I didn't know she did that, but good for her.
Girls I went to camp with should be the show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming created by Ryan Murphy. I'm sure it's happening at some point in the next few years. But Moriah, thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. This was so much fun getting to, unpack everything from Sabrina through Glee, through, comfort watches of Modern Family. Anything you want to plug for people to check out on your end?
Ooh, things to check out. I mean, we're talking about it. Another perfect show if you haven't seen it. This is your sign to watch The Good Place. It is 4 seasons. Yes. It is a perfect show. I'm also reading a book right now, which is the opposite of TV. But it's called Paved Paradise, and it's a very nerdy book about parking and urbanism. So if you too have the most confusing Twitter in the world, I highly recommend it.
That's not a Joni Mitchell biography?
No, although, I'm not going to tell her because maybe it was, and I don't want to get these people in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, pretty bold of them to just outright take a song title and use it as the title of your book.
Yeah. And then the last medium is Sushi Go, is a very fun board game.
Oh, yes.
Game that I've been playing. Yeah. It's super easy to learn, great for crowds. So those are my across all mediums, depending if you want to do it alone or you actually have friends to play Sushi Go with.
Oh, I love this. Actually, Sasha, maybe we should do this at the end of all our podcasts. Just ask like, what pop culture are you plugging for people to check out?
I love this.
All right, what would you like to plug, pop culture or otherwise, Sasha?
Right. I was like, just myself. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, if you want to know more about pop culture, why something's trending, what you should be up on game, you need to be listening to Mess Magnets with Kirsten McKennis and I on RHAP as a website /mess feed. And Chappelle and I just wrapped up Below Deck. So check that out.
If you're a fan of Dr. Odyssey, you're going to love Below Deck.
Because this is real and crazy. And of course, Dancing with the Stars. Mike was so kind and filled in for me while I was gone. And my oh my god, too many M's, but Matt Ligori and I are still keeping on. So although Mike was on the week before, this week, even though there was no Dancing with the Stars, we did a reality stars casting. I thought it was a really fun show. Listen, we had Parvati, we had, if you're thinking Survivor, we had Parvati, we had Sari, we had Jeremy, we of course had Rob's sister Nino. So it was really fun.
Well, somebody's gonna go home first.
That part.
Second. Or third, actually.
Yeah, third. Yeah, fourth boot.
Third.
Oh my god. So it was really fun to do that. So check that out on the RHAP Podcast YouTube channel. Yeah, and for and jet lag. Taryn and I did a season coverage of jet lag tag Europe, or You're It. It was really fun to watch the season. So I'm glad Taryn and I got to do it again, all on RHAP's Podcast YouTube channel. Yeah, that is it. Thank you for that. And I was like, did I forget something? But I'm gonna just move on. That was my brain. Anyway, Mike,
usual reality TV rigmarole. We've got, we've got Survivor, we've got Big Brother, we've got The Challenge. I'm doing some Dancing with the Stars stuff as well. On the scripted side, I'm doing Lost. I'm doing The Penguin, which gets spoiler gets really good this week. I'm all in on The Penguin now after 3 episodes, so check that all out here on the We Know Scripted TV side, and of course, TV for Real, where Sasha and I will be back next week with another reality star. That's going to do it for this week's episode of TV for Real. Though, Moriah, thank you so much again. Sasha, great work as per usual. We'll be back next week with another one. Until next time, everybody, it's been real.